Hi everyone. So this is actually a write over from a previous video because I actually had the wrong answer. So let's take a look at this. We're going to be solving three equations with three unknowns. We're going to solve for z. Now the objective that you want on these things is you want to end up with two equations with the same two unknowns. If you can get to that point, then you're home free because you can use elimination off to the end. And as you can see way down here, we're going to end up with x and z in the equation. Now, looking back here though, I'm going to solve for z, so I need to make sure z stays in the game, as a phrase that I'll use here. So I need to make sure that z does not get eliminated. I mean, you can, but it'll just take you longer to get there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the first two equations here, and I'm going to get rid of y. Okay, the reason I'm going after the y is because look at the third equation. It already has x and z in it. So if I take the first and second equations and get rid of the y value, the y variable, then I'll be home free. So look at the 2, look at the 3. Those are the coefficients in front of each of the y's here. The least common multiple between those guys is a 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the first equation through by a -3 and the second equation through by a 2. Again, I'm going to combine the first equations together, eliminating the y in the process. The reason is that the resulting equation has x and z as the variables, right? The same variables as the third equation, which will also need to get used. All right, so again, first equation multiplying by a -3, the second one by a 2. And when you distribute the -3 through the first equation, you'll get a -3x minus 6y equals -18. Emphasis on the -6y there, okay? Distributing the 2 through the second equation, 2 times 7x is 14x, 2 times 3y is 6y, 2 times z is, well, 2z, and 2 times -33 is -66. And if we add these two modified equations together, we'll lose the y value, which is what we want to happen. And the x, we're going to have -3x and 14x is 11x, -18 and -66 is -84. So I'm going to take this new equation I just picked up and I'm going to add it to this third equation up here. And we're going to get rid of x in the process. So here's the third equation, x minus z equals 16. Here's that newly created fourth equation, 11x plus 2z equals -84. And let's get rid of x. It looks like I need to multiply the first equation through by a -11 so that I can match it up to the positive 11x that you see here. All right, so -11 times this equation will give us a -11x plus 11z equals a -176. We'll add these two equations together. The x drops out. 11z and 2z is 13z. -176 and -84 gives me -260. And when you divide 13 to both sides, you'll have z equaling a -20. In the original video, I actually had this equaling a +20. Oops. Okay, I hope that works.